As a career role player for various teams, Derrick Jones Jr. is best known for being a finalist in a dunk contest and for having an impressive vertical leap. And while he hasn't had the most successful career being in and out of the G League early on, to not seeing much playing time to now finding a minimum contract at the end of the offseason, I still have always been a fan of his game. Despite the fact that many team executives doubt his capabilities, I've always believed that in the right situation, DJJ can be a role player of decent to even high value. After signing with the Dallas Mavericks, I think that this will be the perfect situation for him. Assuming Jason Kidd gives him a chance in the lineup early, I think that Derrick Jones Jr. could earn a solid multi-year contract following the season and make a statement in Texas. Last season, Derrick Jones cut more than 85% of the league in terms of relative shot selection, and yet was only an average shooter in those plays. However, going through his film, I'm led to believe that season was more of an outlier. Now in a better situation, he'll be able to take advantage of better spacing and more gravity from superstars like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, which will let him be a more effective scorer in these plays. While his cutting instincts aren't great and he may sometimes be a little late to the party, he can definitely make up for it with his athleticism and patience when shifting through defenders. He's extremely adept at finishing through contact, and so even if the hell shot chips over and beats him to the rim, he can muscle his way to a basket. I can see him playing the role of a small ball 5 at times in 5-out lineups, which would allow him to have more cutting lanes and better chances at ending plays at the rim than he previously had in Chicago. DJJ shot catch and shoot threes relatively more than anyone in the league last year, making up 99% of his total jumpers. With only a select few of his jump shots coming off of the dribble, he still only converted at a rate just under the league average of 34% though, which is slightly concerning. However, given his strong mechanics and upwards trajectory throughout his career though, I think he can continue to improve going forward and potentially reap the upper 30s from deep. Although he may not be much of a jump shooter right now, what he does have is the space and the shooter's confidence that is imperative to success in the NBA. Now that he's with Dallas, he'll have even more looks open from 3, which I'm sure he will be able to hit. One strange thing to note about him though is that he shoots way better with a defender in his view than with not, shooting 38% on guard and catch and shoot jumpers, but I think we can attribute that simply to variance, as it will more likely become a more relatively average split going forward. At this point, I'm willing to call him a Swiss Army knife, but I must add that Derrick Jones Jr. is by far most effective as a roll man. He has excellent pace on the roll with a heightened court awareness, and he has great instincts for spacing and timing that allow him to make himself open and available for passers. Even without Lonzo Ball in the lineup for the majority of last season, Derrick made himself open and wide enough for even the weaker passers on the team to feed him. With his top-of-the-line athleticism, he can hang in the air for longer than his defender, allowing him to contort midair and finish around a defender or even directly on top of them. Last season with the Bulls, he was in the 95th percentile for efficiency as a roller, and head coach Billy Donovan placed him in a variety of different sets, which ended with him rolling towards the cup. For example, here we see him in a Spain action, which allows him to turn the corner and adjust his body midair for a layup over a taller defender. He provides excellent vertical spacing as well for any lineup, and solid short roll decision making as well. Despite his 1.5 points per possession efficiency as a roll man, he only rolled 14% of the time, meaning a significant amount of his shot came from other actions that he's less adept at. Yet, I do think that Jones will likely see a significant rise in his rolling tendencies as he transitions to the heliocentric offense centered around Luka Doncic and secondarily Kyrie Irving. Like I said, I personally love the fit for Derrick Jones Jr. in Dallas, largely because of how I can see him playing off of Luka Doncic, especially as an athletic cutter and a willing shooter. The gravity around Doncic can certainly boost his efficiency. Without many strong big men, it's clear the Mavs are desperate for a big roller, which is exactly what DJJ is. Like I said earlier, I can see him playing the role of a small ball 5, setting picks for Luka or even Kyrie, and then getting fed with lobs or even bounce passes as he rolls to the hoop, which Luka Doncic throws so well. Luka has the ability to throw these pinpoint lobs and kick out the shooters as well, which is exactly the type of thing that Derrick Jones Jr. does, and the exact type of thing that Derrick Jones Jr. needs in terms of passing to thrive in the NBA. He can play a solid two-man game with Luka or Kyrie, like I said, as a screener or even a handoff guy as well, and I can truly see him finding a place in the rotation as someone who doesn't dribble much, who doesn't need the ball very often, but can score very quickly when he does receive a pass. Above all, what I think best makes Derrick Jones Jr. a fit for the Mavericks is his defense. This team has been desperate for some versatility on the defensive end for a while now, and as a 75th percentile league defender, Jones provides superior wing defense with average rim protection. He's extremely switchable and excellent on the ball, with the ability to cover multiple passes when the play gets into dominoes. Although he does take a lot of gambles, he does have the athleticism to recover from a mistake if he bites for a pump fake or gets stuck on a screen. I think he does a great job fighting for drives and using his body to deter opposing players. And overall, he's in the 87th percentile for guarding jumpers, and he leaps quite high in contests and closes out well. On top of that, overall, I think he has a strong chance to make the playoff rotation for the Mavericks because of this strong switchability, as well as his efficient shot diet. As a hyper-athletic roller and willing shooter playing alongside one of the top passers in the league, Luka Doncic, I believe that Derrick Jones Jr. will finally make a name for himself in this league and contribute when it matters the most.